The first Jurassic Park movie is an absolute masterpiece. Steven Spielberg is a master of film, and he helped shape what a traditional summer blockbuster is with movies like Indiana Jones and Jurassic Park. The first movie was such a powerhouse of cinema that it spawned an entire franchise around it. And with franchises comes things like TV shows, video games, and of course, toys. What I think is super interesting about the Jurassic franchise is that dinosaurs actually existed. They were a real thing, and while the Jurassic Park dinosaurs tend to be far from accurate, it still lights up my imagination to think that these titans used to roam the earth like you or I. And the movies and toys based on dinosaurs are so cool because they serve as totems to these old gods. And I have to wonder in the future, when whatever new species picks up where humanity left off, will they do the same for us? Will there be a dumb Jake action figure in the future? What's good, internet? Jake here, dumb as ever, and what can I say? Sometimes I get a little philosophical. With Jurassic World Rebirth on the horizon, I've got dinosaurs on the mind way more than usual. So in today's video, we're going to go over the original Jurassic Park trilogy of movies and their accompanying toy lines, as well as a truly bizarre toy line that kind of predicted or inspired the plots of the Jurassic World movies. This was a super fun video for me to make, so I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing. Doing that will help me hunt down the big game beast known as Algae Rhythm. As I said in the intro, Jurassic Park is a masterpiece of film. The movie rights for the book were sold before the novel had even come out. Steven Spielberg got his hands on it before anyone else, and with an already incredible filmography under his belt, it can be argued that he really was the perfect director for the job. There are so many iconic moments from Jurassic Park. Nedry's death, Clever Girl, the raptors in the kitchen, the T-Rex attacking the Jeeps. Oh my god, this movie is so good. Not to mention the incredible cast that keeps the movie enjoyable even when there aren't any dinosaurs on screen. The utter joy Alan and Ellie have at seeing the Brachiosaurus for the first time is so believable and contagious. Not to mention Ian Malcolm, who has to be one of the coolest and funniest characters in movie history, and really solidified Jeff Goldblum as one of the all-time greats. The heavy use of practical effects makes this movie so tactile and real. And while the movie was at the forefront of using CGI, the digital effects still look great and don't take me out of the movie at all. I just realized I'm not really saying anything besides movie good. I mean, movie is good, but let's talk about the toys. We have to briefly discuss Kenner, the company that created them. Kenner was founded in 1946 in Cincinnati, Ohio. The company was responsible for some incredible toy lines. Most famously, they created the Star Wars toy line, innovating on the action figure genre of toys. By making their Star Wars figures smaller than other action figures, they were able to make a variety of vehicles, really building up the world of Star Wars for kids to collect. And these toys most likely played a role in the ongoing popularity of the series, ingraining the characters and vehicles into the minds of 70s kids. Kenner was acquired by General Mills in 1967 and passed around a bit before being bought by Hasbro in 1991, meaning Kenner was technically under Hasbro when the Jurassic Park toy lines were coming out. But Kenner still acted autonomously as far as I can tell, though I'm sure Hasbro had at least some say on these toy lines. Side note, while researching this legendary toy company, I learned that their mascot is called the Kenner Goonie Bird. No comment. Much like the movie, the Kenner Jurassic Park line was a game changer for dinosaur toys, featuring a fantastic lineup of dinosaurs, humans, and vehicles. The line gave kids dinosaurs with rubbery, real-feel skin, as well as dino damage, which were removable parts of the dinosaur that usually expose flesh and bone. We're going to explore this line and find out why these toys are so iconic and beloved by the Jurassic Park fandom. Let's talk about some of the smallest toys in the line, the die-cast metal dinosaurs, which were miniature dinosaurs made out of die-cast metal, the same material Hot Wheels are made out of. These miniatures look fantastic. My favorite is the Ceratosaurus that has this crazy coloration, sporting a green body and red head. I also like this weird Gallimimus, again for its blue, green, and red patterns. I would honestly be so down for a line like this to hit shelves again. These miniatures are so simple and elegant. Before we get into the main line of toys, I did want to shout out the Raptor and Triceratops hatchlings, which were almost life-size statues of baby dinosaurs dinosaurs, poking their heads out of cracked eggs. The toy came with a piece of shell so you could close the egg up and make it hatch. They're very adorable, especially the trike. Okay, let's move into the main line of toys, starting with the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were split up into different lines based on their action features. For example, the Dino Screams line features dinosaurs that make sounds, while the Dino Strike figures have more basic attacking action features. This is actually how the modern day Jurassic World line splits up its dinosaurs as well, though they don't use the terms Dino Scream and Dino Strike. It's pretty cool that all the way back in 1993, Kenner had figured out the perfect play patterns for this line. Let's talk about the most basic dinosaur toys, which were a part of the Dino Strike line. Coleophysis is a 2-pack which features these smaller dinosaurs. They both have a wire running through their bodies, which allows them to be a bit more posable. Coleophysis was not actually present in the movie, and this is the case for a few dinosaurs in the toy line. They were most likely added to the line to pad it out a bit, and some of the dinosaurs included in the line seem to be taken from the original book as well. Other Dino Strike dinosaurs not from the movie include Dimetrodon and Pteranodon. And before I get 100 comments, yes, I am aware Dimetrodon is not technically a dinosaur. Tell it to Kenner, not me. Anyway, there were some Dino Strike toys of dinosaurs actually in the movie, like the Velociraptor, who snaps its head forward when you squeeze its legs together. I should mention that all of the Jurassic Park dinos have a distinct JP stamp somewhere on their bodies. This was done to signify the toys were official Jurassic Park dinosaurs, since any company can make their own dinosaur toys if they want. So the JP stamp basically signifies it's a name brand dinosaur. I'm sure there was some playground dinosaur shaming as a result. I love this Velociraptor toy. It's just got the perfect toyetic feel, and I love how derpy his head looks. The final figure in the Dino Strike line was the Dilophosaurus, which could spit water from its mouth, though it did not include the iconic frill from the movie. The Deluxe Dinos line featured larger dinosaurs like Triceratops, Stegosaurus, and young T-Rex. These dinosaurs had action features like the Dino Strike line, as well as Dino Damage, a play feature that involved removable skin pieces that revealed flesh and bone. This is such a fun play feature to me, though there is a common issue where the skin covered pieces are missing because they're small pieces of rubber and easily lost. The young T-Rex is definitely the star of this assortment. It's a great sculpt, and of course anything T-Rex is going to shine. Stegosaurus was not in the movie, and as a result this Stego does not look great. He's easily the worst sculpt of the line, but I personally love his dumb face. He is friend-shaped. I love the Triceratops sculpt. Just an all-time classic dinosaur in a really nice style. Let's follow this line up with the Dino Screams, which only had 2 figures, Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus. These figures also had action features, but the main appeal is the electronic noises they make. Dinosaurs that make noise is a huge part of modern Jurassic toy lines, but for me personally, I really do not like toys that make noise. They have always bothered me for some reason, and it's a factor that has kept me from really getting into JP collecting, because while I love the sculpts, I really hate the random noises the toys make. Anyway, this Dilophosaurus actually has its frill this time, which is awesome, and the piece is actually removable, which is a really nice touch. This Velociraptor is very orange and looks a lot more vicious than the Dino Strike version. The final dinosaur of Series 1 is the electronic Tyrannosaurus Rex, a massive dinosaur toy and the crown jewel of the line. It has the real feel skin texture and sports a black and red color scheme, notably different from the movie T-Rex. I've seen some people say this Rex is based on its book appearance, and while that's possible, I think it's also very possible that Kenner wanted the Rex to have more color to make it stand out on the shelf. My biggest piece of evidence in this regard is the packaging itself. In the cross-sell for many of the figures, there is a picture of a very accurate T-Rex next to some of the human toys. This T-Rex was not a toy prototype. It wasn't even a toy. It was actually one of the maquettes of the T-Rex used for the movie. A maquette is a small model used to make larger models. So this small T-Rex was used to make the animatronic version of the beast. Kenner likely used this maquette because they were still prototyping the actual T-Rex toy and needed something to advertise it, meaning they could have made the electronic T-Rex accurate, but they chose not to. Of course, this is pure speculation, and only actual employees would know the truth. Regardless, the Rex is an amazing toy, and I actually really like the red color. I think in a lot of ways, these toys are iconic because of their differences from the movie. This is Jurassic Park, so along with dinosaurs, we have humans, vehicles, and even a playset. The humans are all generically buff men and Ellie. They all come with silly accessories, though I love that each figure includes a baby dinosaur. My favorite baby dinosaur is the Brachiosaurus, which comes with Tim. I just really like the cage you can put it in. It it has a hole for the Brachiosaurus's head to pop out. The funniest figure is Nedry, who was played by the overweight Wayne Knight in real life. Kenner just made him a random dude. He doesn't even look like Nedry, and he's not overweight at all, so it's just completely odd. There were 3 vehicles in the line. The Bush Devil Tracker and Jungle Explorer were both based on actual vehicles from the movie, while the Capture Copter was made up for the toy line. I love how the Bush Devil Tracker's side opens so you can catch dinos with a snare. It's very similar to the engine vehicles that appeared in the second movie. I have to wonder if they were inspired by the toys. Finally, there was the Command Compound, a really awesome playset that lets you set up your own mini Jurassic Park. The set came with a tower that seemed to be based on the Visitor Center, as well as 6 fence pieces and the iconic Jurassic Park gate. Playsets are not a super common type of toy these days, so it's always fun to look back on older toy lines that had them. But that's not all, folks. There's actually a Series 2 that introduced more dinosaurs, humans, and vehicles. From what I've heard, Series 2 seemed to not hit many shelves, so a lot of the pieces are very rare. Kenner also changed a few things with Series 2. First off, they gave almost every dinosaur nicknames. For example, in the Dino Strike line, they re-released Dilophosaurus and gave it the codename Spitter. These new Dino Strike figures also came with capture gear, accessories you could put on your dinosaur to show that the humans had captured it. My best guess as to why they gave the dinos nicknames is because kids were having trouble pronouncing Pachycephalosaurus. Though I will say these names are pretty lame. The Velociraptor was also re-released with the name Raptor. Very creative. In terms of new figures, we got the Pachy, who of course has headbutting action, as well as Lycanops, a pretty bizarre animal that looks like a dinosaur crossed with a saber-toothed tiger. I looked it up and Lycanops are not actually dinosaurs, much like Dimetrodon. The weirdest Dino Strike figure is Tanystropheus, codenamed Cobra. It looks like a normal reptile apart from its distressingly long neck. And yep, looked it up and it's also not a dinosaur. Cobra does have a bendy wire neck though, which is pretty cool. For the Series 2 Deluxe dinosaurs, we got a green repaint of the young T-Rex, and we got 3 new figures alongside it. Quetzalcoatlus got a figure with the codename Firebeak, and we got a figure of the Utahraptor, which was actually a species that was discovered in 1993, the same year Jurassic Park was released. While velociraptors in real life are quite small compared to the ones in the movie, Utahraptor is actually much closer in height to the movie Velociraptors. The Utahraptor is called Ripper and is essentially just a very large velociraptor. He looks really cool though, and it's cool to me that they made a figure of a newly discovered dino. My favorite of the set has to be the Carnotaurus nicknamed Demon, which is a crazy nickname, but he do look like a demon though. I love the red and black colors, and the Carnotaurus in general looks cool with their little devil horns. We got 2 more dino screams in Series 2, the Baryonyx and Gallimimus. Baryonyx has appeared frequently in the Jurassic World series, so it's funny to see such an outdated version of the dinosaur. His head especially looks a lot different from modern interpretations. There were a bunch of new humans in Series 2, though the main one I care about is Ian Malcolm, who didn't get a figure in Series 1. He of course comes with goofy gadgets, but the figure itself is really accurate to Malcolm and is probably my favorite of the set. Kenner introduced non-movie humans with the heroic Dino Trackers and villainous Evil Riders. The Dino Trackers are all generic dudes with goofy names, though I do view the name Jaws Jackson as a reference to Steven Spielberg. The Evil Raiders are led by a villain named Dr. Snare, who is largely uninteresting save for the included Carnotaurus hatchling. As for vehicles, the Jungle Explorer got a re-release alongside 3 new vehicles. 2 of them were branded as Dino Trackers vehicles. The Jungle Runner is an ATV, and the Capture Cruiser was a car that could deploy a net to capture dinosaurs. The last vehicle was the Strike Cycle, used by the Evil Raiders. The Strike Cycle is kinda sick. I like the skull being strapped to the front of the motorcycle. Damn, that was a lot of toys for the first movie alone. But Kenner did some incredible work here and really set expectations for how a Jurassic Park toy line should look. I have to say the play pattern of humans with capture vehicles and dinosaurs with dino damage and capture gear was really smart, and gave kids a ton of options for storytelling with their toys. Okay, time for a genuinely hot take. I do not care for the Lost World Jurassic Park. Plot of Ian's team researching and helping the dinosaurs of Isla Sorna, while Roland Timbo's band of mercenaries hunt down the dinos, is surprisingly reminiscent of the Dino Trackers and Evil Raiders from Series 2 of the Kenner toy line for the first movie. I'm sure it's mostly a coincidence, but it's funny to me that Kenner kind of predicted the plot on accident. My favorite part is... Okay, I'll stop being a downer, and I just want to say if the Lost World World is your fave, absolutely no hate to you. I don't think it benefits anyone to be persnickety towards these blockbuster dinosaur movies. Kenner was once again in charge of the toy line for the Lost World, and while they did a lot of the same, they also did a lot different with this line and refined their dinosaur toy line formula even more. Once again, starting with the smallest of the line, we have the Microverse sets, which featured an assortment of dinosaurs, an assortment of vehicles, and a T-Rex micro playset that looked like a cave and can open up into a little area for your dinos. These toys were competing with the Micro Machines at the time, and the lack of actual product tells me that Micro Machines won that competition. The hatchlings made a return, this time in really cool display-worthy tubes. The Velociraptor and Triceratops were re-released, and they were joined by a new T-Rex hatchling, probably because of the baby Rex in the movie. The dinosaur assortment was switched up a bit. The most basic line was simply called Dinos Now, which were dinosaurs that came with capture gear. The dinosaurs in the Lost World have JP stamps just like the first movie, but there's a little extra B next to the JP signifying they're toys from the Lost World. Several dinosaurs from the first line were repainted and re-released in this line, including Spitter, Ramhead, and Raptor. The line also included some new dinosaurs, of course. Trike seems to be a young Triceratops, and there was actually a second Velociraptor that was released called Cyclops Raptor. It has that code name because it only has one functioning eye, the other eye being scratched out, presumably from a fight since there's a large scar. I think this is really cool and gives the Cyclops Raptor a lot more personality. Finally, we had Junior, the baby T-Rex from the movie. Junior includes a little cast for its leg like in the movie, which is a nice touch. There was a series 2, but just for this basic dino line, and it only had 2 new dinosaurs. One of which is a new Baryonyx, which looks a lot closer to the modern interpretation than the first figure we looked at. There was also Gnasher and Ornithosuchus, which is more closely related to crocodilians than dinosaurs. But he looks cool, so like Dimetrodon and company, he gets a pass. The Dino Strike line returned, but now the dinosaurs are larger with action features, and include capture gear and dino damage wounds. This line featured new versions of Carnotaurus and Stegosaurus. This Stego is such a redemption from the first movie line and looks great. I love that the dino damage removes one of its dorsal plates. We also got a giant Pteranodon that can flap its wings, which is cool. There's not that many flying dinosaurs in the line, so it's cool that they made a big one. This new Carnotaurus is not as cool as Demon, but he's named Bonebreaker, which is pretty sick. Oddly, there's a Pachycephalosaurus in this lineup. This one is also called Ramhead, so no points for originality. This Pachy is confusing to me because I've always the last figure in the line is the Thrasher T-Rex, a very well-regarded figure in the fandom, and a great-looking one at that. This line tried really hard to give you a Rex at every size, which makes perfect sense to me. The final line of dinosaurs was the Electronic line, effectively replacing the Dino Screams line from the first movie. There was another Velociraptor in this line, this one much bigger than any of the other raptors. There was also a Parasaurolophus, which looks great. Low-key, it's one of the best herbivore dinosaurs in my opinion. A brand new dinosaur, the Chasmosaurus, was in the line. It looks like it's related to the Triceratops. I like the sandy coloration, and its nickname Plate Face is kind of cool. We got another new dinosaur in the form of Slice the Spinosaurus. This Spino looks cool, though his head looks wrong. I mean, all of it looks wrong because the Spinosaurus is a heavily debated dinosaur, but the head looks really wrong. It looks more like a raptor, and I don't love the coloration personally. The biggest and best dinosaur from this line is the Bull T-Rex. This beast is green just like the movie and has the amazing feature of being able to eat things. The Rex comes with this guy in the cage that it can eat, and it has a cut in its stomach so you can pull the guy out. A very fun play feature and just an amazing looking Rex. Humans and vehicles make a return in this line. The humans still come with the dinosaur hatchlings, and the vehicles are okay. I like the glider pack with Ian Malcolm because it's funny, and the Dino Snare dirt bike is cool. It can split in half like a dinosaur destroyed it. The High Hide with Nick Van Owen is a mini playset, which is really fun. And we got 3 vehicles. The Net Tracker is similar to the Bush Devil Tracker from the first movie, with the passenger seat that slides out. The Ground Tracker is a bit generic, but the hood hood pops off, which is fun. And finally, the Humvee is like a mobile platform for capturing dinosaurs. It has this crazy contraption in the front that grabs dinosaurs. There were two playsets. One is the Dino Damage Medical Center, which is this little lab playset that includes an Allosaurus with multiple points of dino damage. You can even pull out a piece of the Allosaurus's rib cage, making it the most dino damaged dinosaur out there. The lab set itself is also cool and is a neat little diorama. Finally, we have the Mobile Command Center, which is an incredible playset. The vehicle itself is large and made of a cab and trailer. You can open the trailer and reveal a small lab to help dinosaurs. And the cab can be destroyed by dinosaurs. You can even pull out the steering wheel section. And the set also includes fences to go around it, so you can keep the dinos in or out. This set feels like a great upgrade to the first movie's playset and would fit right into a G.I. Joe collection. I have to say, while The Lost World isn't my cup of tea, the toy line based on it is incredible and a perfect follow-up to the first line. There was at one point a plan for a Jurassic Park cartoon, which isn't really surprising. They made a cartoon for any popular movie back in the day. Even R-rated movies like RoboCop and First Blood got cartoons. What is surprising is that a rock-solid success like Jurassic Park ultimately didn't get a cartoon. For some reason, it never made it past the pre-production phase. Not much is known about the show, but the basic plot would have been about mutant dinosaurs that were created by splicing together different dinosaur DNA, or in some cases DNA from modern animals like a tree frog. These creatures would be hyper aggressive, probably because they're genetic aberrations. I imagine the show would have been about Ian Malcolm leading a team to stop these dinosaurs, maybe trying to save them while Roland Timbo tries to kill them or something. It's unfortunate this cartoon never got made, but the dinosaur gods did bless us with perhaps the most bizarre Jurassic Park toy line, Jurassic Park Chaos Effect. This toy line is so wild compared to the last two we've talked about, and features some wacky dinosaur designs in crazy bright colors. In a weird way, this line of toys predicted the hybrids from the Jurassic World movies, though the movie hybrids are much more subtle in terms of combinations. This toy line was much smaller than the first two. There were 6 basic dinosaurs in Chaos Effect. Once again, these dinosaurs have JP stamps, this time with the DNA sequence under it to signify they're Chaos Effect dinosaurs. Not that they really needed them. I'm sure there were no other dinosaurs that looked like this on the shelf. 3 of the basic dinos were repaints. The Tanaconda and Tyrannonops were straight repaints of Tanystropheus and Lycanops, both of which are from Series 2 from the first movie. Raptor Alpha is another repaint of the original Dino Strike Velociraptor. I have to say Raptor Alpha's coloration is incredible. I love the black, blue, and lime green colors. Easily my favorite of the Raptors we've seen. The colors just look good rather than silly, even though they're bright. There were also 3 new figures in the basic dino selection. These dinosaurs seem cartoonier to me, which makes sense since they were supposed to be in a cartoon, so they do appear to be stylized. The Amargospinus is a combination of the Amargosaurus and the Spinosaurus, and honestly that combo results in one of the least unhinged mutations, and the more chill black and red color scheme helps it seem more normal. The Compsognathus is a combo of Compsognathus, Stegosaurus, and African tree frog, which means it can probably jump really high or something. It honestly reminds me of the Indoraptor from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom a lot, specifically the long arms and legs with the yellow line running up through the body. Ankylotanodan is a combo of Pteranodon and Ankylosaurus DNA. This creature is by far the most stylized of the group, and oh my god, all I can think when I look at it is Ava Unit 01. My brain is so cooked, man. Anyway, we got one Dino Strike repaint of the Thrasher T-Rex from The Lost World. This iconic toy now looks completely bizarre, being mostly a lime green color with some blue thrown in there. 3 new electronic figures were released as well. Paradeinonychus is a combination of Parasaurolophus and Deinonychus. This one mostly looks like a feral version of the Parasaurolophus, but it interestingly has a piece of its tail missing as if it was ripped off in a fight, which is kind of unique. The Velociraptorix is one of the more iconic mutants, being a combo of Velociraptor and Archaeopteryx. This dinosaur looks like a raptor got hit with the stretch tool and given bone wings. The bone wings are pretty cool. I wish more of them leaned into body horror like this, and the Velociraptorix has the most muted color scheme by far, making it feel a lot more realistic than the other mutants. Finally, we have the Omega T-Rex, which is a straight repaint of the Bull T-Rex. But man, I love these colors on it. Blue and orange is my favorite color combo, and I love how menacing the head looks, being all black with some red, like blood is splattered on the face or something. There were only 2 single-pack humans released, Ian Malcolm and Roland Timbo. These versions of the characters are in weird sci-fi outfits, and they still come with baby dinosaurs. The humans harken back to Series 2 of the first movie's toy line. Ian Malcolm is part of the Dino Trackers, while Roland Timbo's packaging marks him part of the Evil Hunters. There were 3 vehicles. The Air and Land Sabers were small flying and ground vehicles for capturing dinos, and the Trike Dozer is a large vehicle that has a grabby claw in the front and a snare in the back. Finally, there was a playset, the Mobile Command Center, which is a direct repaint of the one from The Lost World, given wacky colors just like all the dinosaurs. I almost like this version more because of how goofy it is, but it definitely would not fit in with your G.I. Joes anymore. That's every released toy from the line, but there were several unreleased figures, like this really cool Ceratosaurus. But the main cancelled figure I wanted to talk about is the Ultimasaurus, which would have been the crown jewel of this line had it been released. It was a combo of the T-Rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, and Ankylosaurus and Stegosaurus. Basically, this guy was an Indominus Rex with a way more on-the-nose design. I love the head sculpt. It looks like a T-Rex with a Triceratops frill, and the completely red face with black horns make it look like a demon. The toy had dino damage as well, and you could take off the shell of its back to reveal the spine. The Ultimasaurus was probably cancelled due to poor Chaos Effect sales, and it's a damn shame. Though he did make it on the packaging of the Trike Dozer, and Roland Timbo actually included an Ultimasaurus hatchling, so you could at least get one as a baby. There are a bunch of prototypes floating around, painted to varying degrees. Unfortunately, an official Ultimasaurus was never released, but there was a fan-made version released by Sirit Tech. This toy is borderline a perfect replica of the original figure, and even comes with the dino damage. It doesn't seem to be available to purchase at the moment, but this fan-made toy is a testament to the Jurassic Park fandom's love for these odd toys. Believe it or not, at one point, a second series of Chaos Effect toys was being developed. This series was called Night Hunters and featured more crazy colored dinosaurs, though in the product shots, it does look like they toned it down a bit. And there was even supposed to be a Night Hunters Ultimasaurus, but it was all ultimately cancelled. 3 years after this line in 2000, Hasbro would close Kenner's doors and fully absorb the company's product lines, ending the company after 54 incredible years of toy making. During this merge, many people in Cincinnati lost their jobs, and reportedly the designers who worked on Jurassic Park were a part of those massive layoffs. While toys are obviously supposed to be about fun, events like these layoffs are a stark reminder that the toy industry is still an industry, and difficult and sometimes upsetting business decisions are made like this often. I hope all those who were laid off made it back into the industry in some capacity, and if you happen to be watching, thank you for the cool, weird, and awesome toys, Kenner. I had a weird relationship with Jurassic Park 3 because for a long time, it was the only Jurassic Park film I had seen. No one ever showed me the first 2 films, despite me being a massive dinosaur kid, and Jurassic Park 3 is the only movie of the trilogy that would play on cable TV. I'm guessing the first 2 were only on paid channels like HBO. Embarrassingly, I only watched the first 2 movies in anticipation for Jurassic World Dominion, so I saw the classic film Jurassic Park for the first time in 2022, just 3 years ago. I am only revealing this information so you guys understand that I am much more nostalgic and forgiving of this movie. And for my personal ranking, I would put it over The Lost World, though not by much. I definitely don't think it's a masterpiece by any means. This movie was directed by Joe Johnston, who at that point was known for directing Jumanji and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which is a great resume, but let's be for real. It is really hard to follow in Steven Spielberg's footsteps. Even Spielberg couldn't follow his own footsteps with The Lost World. So Jurassic Park 3 is not a masterpiece like the first movie, but I still like it. It's very basic in terms of scope for a JP movie, with a group of humans having to survive the Jurassic wilds of Isla Sorna. I have to say, Spinosaurus is easily my favorite dinosaur. The sail on its back is iconic, and I've always loved its longer, more crocodile-like face. That being said, there's hot debate to this day over what the Spino looked like, as well as its behavior. In JP3, the Spinosaurus Spinosaurus kinda acts like a Michael Myers dinosaur, chasing down the humans all throughout the movie, and it even brutally kills a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is the movie's way of saying that the Spino is a bigger and badder villain. Luckily, this movie is set on Isla Sorna, so that wasn't Rexy that Spino killed, but I do feel like a lot of fans took offense to this scene, maybe interpreting it as a jab at the first two movies, instead of a setup for the movie's new villain dinosaur. It's also kind of a crazy scene, because the Spino kills a whole T-Rex and chooses to chase humans instead of eating it, which in of itself is inaccurate because Spinosaurus was most likely a river hunter, eating mainly fish. The Spino has come back into the spotlight after many years with the Jurassic World Rebirth. It has a brand new, more scientifically accurate design, and is sort of a mascot dinosaur for the toy line, being featured on most of the boxes. My bad, I started monologuing about Spinosaurus again. Let's talk about the toys for Jurassic Park 3. This is the first Jurassic toy line that was fully produced by Hasbro instead of Kenner, though Hasbro followed Kenner's lead for the most part, with a few key differences. The main difference being that most of these dinosaurs are completely plastic, with the rubber real feel skin being reserved for only the biggest dinosaurs in the line. Let's start with the smallest toys in the line, the die-cast miniatures. These came in little packs and usually included a dinosaur, human, and vehicle. These are kinda neat, and I like that the vehicles are specifically made to catch dinosaurs, but I would have preferred something similar to the first movie's line of die-cast dinosaurs, instead of including these vehicles. There were also a couple of Hot Wheels style playsets for this line, one of which featured a Spino busting out of a building to attack the car. The main line of dinosaurs was the electronic React Attack line, meaning React Attack. Basically, they were deluxe dinosaurs from previous lines. The dinosaurs would make noises and have attacking action features. I love the packaging on this line with the blood red and caution lines. It really pops to me. Each dinosaur is also stamped with the JP logo like the previous lines. Jurassic Park 3 dinosaurs have a JP logo with the 3 claw slash marks from the movie's logo. The line featured 3 different velociraptors: Alpha Velociraptor, Pack Raptor, and Stalking Raptor. The Stalking Raptor caught my eye because it seems to come with a little whistle, probably a reference to the 3D printed raptor larynx that Alan uses in the movie. Some classics like T-Rex, Triceratops, and Dilophosaurus also came back for this line. Something I should mention is that most of the dinosaurs in this line have damage, but it's not like Kenner's Dino Damage. You can't hide the gore, so your JP3 T-Rex will just always have an open wound. We also got a new Tapahara in this line. I love the green coloration and the sail on its head. I'm not a huge flying dinosaur guy, but the Tapahara might be my favorite. Speaking of flying dinosaurs, there was also a Pteranodon figure. These creatures finally got a spotlight in JP3 after 2 movies, and this figure looks good to me, very swooshable. Finally, there is an upset looking Brachiosaurus, probably because someone took a bite out of it, but I love these blue colors on it, and it has a posable bendy neck, which is awesome for a sauropod. There were several Spinosaurus toys. The standard one is a very dull brown, but the Aqua Attack Spino is much more colorful, with maroon, white, and blue making up his colors. I especially love the metallic blue on his sail. There are 3 larger React Attack dinos, one of which being the Alpha Pteranodon. I love the dark blue coloration of this creature, and the sculpting just looks amazing to me, though the black pins they used to connect the wing pieces are kind of an eyesore. There was also a larger T-Rex. It reminds me of the bull T-Rex from The Lost World thanks to the green coloration. I know I've already complained about it for a bit, but the dino damage on these figures is so lame. Partly because you can't hide it, and partly because it feels like they're all damaged in the same way, on their side with the ribcage showing. I think they chose to do this because it is probably the coolest place for damage to be shown, and since it isn't true dino damage and can't be hidden, they went with the coolest option every time. It should also be noted that none of these dinosaurs come with capture gear, so that entire play pattern is gone, though arguably it wouldn't fit because there is no capturing of dinosaurs in the movie. The big dinosaur of the line is called the animatronic Spinosaurus. This toy could move automatically when different buttons were pressed. The buttons are under the dinosaur's real feel skin, and pressing them would cause the toy to make noise and the head and tail to move slowly. A cool gimmick for sure, though finding a functioning version in the modern day is probably difficult. The Spino itself looks fine, though it very noticeably has speaker holes on one side, as well as a huge seam line running through its torso. Outside of the React Attack line, there were 2 quote quote-unquote posable dinosaurs, a Spinosaurus and a Velociraptor. These posable dinosaurs were mostly made of rubber. I can't really tell how posable they actually were. They have bendy wires in their tails, but besides that, I think the posability of these figures is moving them around because they're made of rubber. Humans return to this line. Some come with the baby dinosaurs, while others come with full-size dinos. Like this Alan Grant figure, which doesn't look like the actor at all. That comes with 2 copies. I think the Eric Kirby figure is brilliant. The human is a kid, so the pack is mostly taken up by a large alpha pteranodon figure. It feels like more of a dinosaur toy than a human toy. There were some vehicles as well. The all-terrain Dino Trapper vehicle is very similar to other toys we've seen previously. It has a large net for catching dinosaurs. The Air Helisaber Marine Copter is a stubby little helicopter toy. I kind of like it, and is the word saber in the toy's name a reference to the vehicles from Chaos Effect, which were called the Air and Land Sabers? And finally, there was the Raptor Motorcycle Pursuit set, which featured a human, a motorcycle, and a raptor, which is honestly a really nice package, and I love the Raptor's coloration. There was a playset, though it disappointingly was just a re-release of the first movie's Command Compound set, except it's just the gate and fences part, so you don't even get an actual command center. The set comes with another Alan and Raptor, which is nice, and I don't think the gate and fences look bad. It's still a fun idea. It just feels a bit lazy and subtracts from an old playset rather than adding to it. There was one more set of dinosaurs released, the Camo Extreme line, which is a very 2000s name. Featured dinosaurs repainted to fit into different biomes like the Arctic or desert. There was a line of small mini dinosaur 2-packs. It's mostly sculpts of Velociraptor, T-Rex, and Spinosaurus repainted a bunch, as well as one random Stegosaurus that managed to slip into the line. The React Attack dinosaurs were just called Deluxe Dinosaurs in this line, though they are all repaints of the React Attack dinosaurs from the movie's first wave. My favorite of this bunch is the Arctic T-Rex. I love the blue and white color scheme. The second line did not last long, and ultimately the Jurassic Park 3 line ended here. I definitely feel as though there is a distinct drop-off from the Kenner stuff in this line, mostly in terms of playability, as many play patterns like dino damage, real feel skin, and capture gear are greatly limited to a few toys or gone altogether. So this video is not going to go over the Jurassic World toy lines because my god, I need to sleep. Let me know if you guys want a full Jurassic World toy line breakdown, but to be brief, Hasbro handled the first Jurassic World's toy line, and from what I understand, this line is kind of hated by the fandom. Many people feel as though it was a very low quality line of toys, including Universal themselves, who did not renew the license with Hasbro and awarded it to Mattel in 2017. Since then, Mattel has been making Jurassic World toys, starting with the Fallen Kingdom toy line. I think, for the most part, the fandom loves Mattel's Jurassic lines, especially high-quality stuff like the hyper-articulated and detailed Hammond collection, a truly incredible line of dinosaur toys. They're even releasing this amazing-looking figure based on the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3, and oh my god, I need it. For the franchise's 30th anniversary, Mattel released a small line of toys called 93 Classic, a line of toys primarily referencing Kenner's original Jurassic Park toy line. Some are very obvious recreations like the red T-Rex, which was recreated in the form of the electronic real-feel Tyrannosaurus Rex, an incredible toy in terms of painting and sculpting. I'm sure this was an amazing throwback for older fans. And the Rex can eat things just like the bull T-Rex from The Lost World. So it's kind of this amazing combo of the two most iconic T-Rex figures. There were a few vehicle sets. I like the off-road tracker pack the best though, because it comes with a Jeep in the iconic JP colors as well as a T-Rex with a really cool coloration. It also includes capture gear for the T-Rex, which is awesome. A few humans were also released. Alan Grant comes with a baby raptor and a Gallimimus in some cool colors. This pack also features capture gear. Ian Malcolm includes a glider as a reference to one of the toys from The Lost World, and he comes with a baby trike and a Dilophosaurus. Interestingly, the Dilophosaurus doesn't have its frill extended, which I'm convinced is a reference to the first movie's spitting Dilophosaurus toy. The most bizarre toy of this set is Dennis Nedry. Just like Kenner's original line, this toy of Nedry is not fat, and this time he's visibly muscular, only wearing a bright orange vest. The funniest part of this toy is that thanks to modern technology, this version of Nedry looks exactly like Wayne Knight, but Knight's head obviously obviously has some extra fat on it. So this toy is a buff guy with the head of a fat guy, which is hilarious. Nedry comes with a motorcycle and a raptor with some really cool colors. The 93 Classic line was a really fun throwback, but it only lasted a bit in 2023 because it was tied directly to the 30th anniversary. But I think the line was such a success that a new subline in Mattel's Jurassic World Legacy line was created. It's called Reimagined, and the subline only has a few figures so far. One of them is the Chopper Chase Pack, which features a helicopter vehicle with the same markings as the Capture Copter vehicle from Kenner's original movie line. It also features this really cool black and red raptor. Speaking of black and red, the Demon Carnotaurus from Series 2 got a remake in the Reimagined line as Roarin' Real Feel Carnotaurus. And my god, what an amazing looking toy. I absolutely love that they remade Demon. The color pattern looked amazing 30 years ago, and it looks amazing now. As far as I know, you can still get this guy from places like Target right now. Oh, and remember that Hammond Collection Spinosaurus I mentioned? Yeah, I bought it. How could I not? And oh my god, it is such an incredible toy. Literally jaw-dropping how cool this dinosaur looks, scientifically accurate or not. While I play with this dinosaur, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video. And if you'd like to support me past that, I have a YouTube membership and Patreon. For $1 a month, both platforms give you the same thing. Access to my private Discord server where we do monthly movie nights and weekly Toku nights, as well as weekly exclusive videos called Toy Dives, where I talk about a random toy line. In the most recent episode, I talked about the Spy Kids toy line and learned that Thumb Thumb toys exist. Alright y'all, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.